Wellness Resort Revolution, Power of Place, Architecture and Design for Extended Lifespan. And this topic is going to be covered by Mr. Vikram Verma. So can we have a round of applause for Mr. Vikram?
So we get affected vibrationally by materiality around us. Uh, the fact that whether we are living in gratitude, our thoughts, the company we keep, sounds around us, speech, visuals, everything affects our vibrations. I tried to bring order into this presentation because there's endless amount of information and you can keep talking about it. Everything in this world is made up of basic 5 elements known as Panchabhuta. And in Indian culture, believe they are Hakash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, and Bhumi. So a living being, the body, earth depends on water. Body content balanced by the Agni. Agni heat is controlled by the air. Breathing, which is possible only if you have space, and space is inside the body. So a living being lives in balance thanks to this process. Similarly, a building, in terms of how it again has a similar relationship with the 5 elements. So architecture to assist bringing in purity of 5 elements and the 6 senses which we have. And if we become aware of these and if we start purifying, because there is disturbed 5 elements and it results in wellness. To balancing the 5 elements within the body and within the building and outside the building. So there is 5 elements inside your body, then between the body and the building, inside and outside. So the balancing of all that is done at 2 levels. One would be the skin. If we put all kinds of weird stuff on our skin, it will affect our relations with the elements outside. They need to be in balance inside and outside. Then there is a air gap between the clothing and the skin. That again changes because of what kind of clothing we wear. And then from the clothing and the building envelope, there is an indoor air, which has all the 5 elements also. And from the building envelope outside, there are 5 elements. So in the end, the 5 elements outside need to have a relationship with the 5 elements inside the body. Now, there are problems because, first of all, the 5 elements outside the building envelope are in trouble. And then what's inside the envelope is more in trouble. And like the doctors will tell you, what's inside is in trouble. So at the end of the day, the equilibrium is not happening. So, I mean, you can eat not such good food and you can be in trouble. You can drink bad water and be in trouble. But somewhere down the line, all this happens inside the habitat. So you get into there is a relationship because we take fresh air inside the building. If we take it, if it's polluted, we are in trouble. If the water which comes into a building is not a good quality water, then it affects us. And so we need to understand what is good water, what is good air. And the earth element comes in through the food, what we buy and we bring it into our house, sometimes thoughtfully, sometimes mindlessly. So at the end of the day, all that affects the equilibrium. Earth is 12%. It has a vibrations of 7.83. It represents a chakra. It has a color to it. It represents a mindset, I am. And in Vastu, they say it belongs to the southwest. So now this was the original purpose of Earth, what it's supposed to do and how it contributes. So there is magnetic gravitational forces. It brings in all the resources. Materiality comes from it. Physicality of body represents the materiality. The source of life ingredients, food for physicality linked to 5 senses, taste, smell, sight, touch, and sound. And then actually makes you a sensual being. It's supposed to. And then it takes care of anything extra and then it sinks into the earth. So it's good for sinking your energies and closes the loop. Then there is it provides fulvic and humic acids, which represent nutrition and relationship between the flora and fauna. Then it's supposed to make you tactful, and prudence comes in because of that. Emotional affinity, mother that balances. So at the end of the day, earth balances and supposed to be the sink which balances. So that's why we say it's mother earth. And what's written on the other side is the current status. So it's polluted resources, tainted materiality, compromised physicality, depleted resources. It's fairly badly depleted because we've kind of misused it. And then the senses are there, but they become numb, and we are disconnected and depleted, fulvic and humic, tactless and impolitic. Emotionally, we compromised, and mother that struggles to balance. So this is the current status versus the original purpose. Similarly, with water, 72%, 303 hertz. It's sacral chakra, I feel, and there is a geometry associated to the chakra. And original purpose, flow, purification, freshness, renewal, awareness, memory, purity, relationships, liquid software delivery, programmable, potentiality, transforms, mineralization, soaks, osmotic balance, is capable of behaving with osmosis and carries information, assimilating, imbibes, retains, impregnates. So, and many more things. So, this is miraculous. The element is designed to kind of be flexible, resilient, and deliver so much. Probably the reason life, I mean, it connects, major role it plays in. So there you go, water is stopped trickling, our rivers are dry, delivers toxicity because it imbibes toxicity because we move our shit with this. I mean, such a holy material, and we use it to flush our poop. It's become stale, it's dying. We flush all the waste through pipes and drains. We send it to freshwater lakes, to rivers, and then try to clean them. Because they're toxic, bring it back. I mean, such an irony that the most sacred material, one of the most sacred materials, we use it as a transport of waste. I mean, it's incredible how we are so numb that we are allowing this to happen, and Ganga is never going to get clean because there is no intention to clean it. So you stop dirtying it, and it'll get clean in 2 days. So that's as simple as that. But for that, we need to understand that we cannot put waste just because Mr. Shank designed a WC. We decided to pump the waste into fresh water through pipes. So this is how it is disturbed, and the most disturbed is this element. And because all the water systems are linked, it is finally going to our oceans, and I don't know, nature normally regenerates. So let's see when that will happen. Fire is probably the least. So it's 4% and 528 hertz, and solar plexus. It gives you the passion. So fire embodies all these. It's transformative. It converts elements to energy. It has a relationship with you through your eyes, infrared relationship. You were talking about the infrared to the earth walls. It's a medium of divinity, resetting through IR, redistributes, state transformer. So now the other side, not much has changed because it is not continuous. So fire of hatred and greed to anger, this is the result of rest of the imbalance in the elements. And so to that effect, so but Agni is still pure. Then Vayu is polluted, but not such a difficult thing to clean. And COVID showed that it just cleaned itself. I mean, he stopped, so it was okay. So this is the element which is difficult in urban areas because a lot of people shut themselves into closed rooms, and they have most likely fresh air is brought in, but the fresh air is not removing the pollutants. And everybody puts those ionizers and they think it's clean because they've taken out the PM 2.5. But actually, there's no oxygen in the room. So I don't know how many people here have headaches sitting here because there's no fresh air. So cleaning this is very tricky, especially in urban areas. So it is a very important aspect in cities. Then Vayu, the original, this is what it's supposed to do, and current status is disturbed. There is disturbed balance of gases, and it represents a depressed, anxious, aggressive, disrespectful, from cheerful, amiable, gentle, and courteous, and much lower 20% than 20% O2, which was this was 6%, but much lower than 20% O2. Yeah, asthma is one of the effects of this. So PM 2.5 is what everybody talks about, but nobody talks about the more dangerous, for example, CNG. CNG, the particle size is much smaller, but it gets into your blood. 2.5 does not get into the blood. But so this, again, there is a taint here because they wanted change of technology. They wanted money to suck up. So they change it. They change the standards, they change accreditation, and then they say, now you have to shift. So this is all manipulation at a certain level. Ether is, nobody sees this. So they have routers on their heads so that the signals are good. Their electrical supply in the house, behind the bed, they have so much of electricals. So at the end of the day, ether is one which, along with water, is one of the most kind of serious situations here. So I'm clubbing the three chakras here, but the fact is that it represents expansion, openness, allowing for growth and expansion, quiet, silent, ethereal volume, allowing you to connect, infinite, intelligent canvas, intermediary creation and source of creation. But it's invisible, so we don't really know and what it does, and everybody starts saying that there is a study done and it doesn't give you cancer, there is a study done and it doesn't bother you, it doesn't give you anxiety, it doesn't. So they have all these studies, and this is all, the whole ether has been hijacked. And it's extremely dangerous because this is the thing we want to connect to, and they've taken away the beauty of our connect. So on one side, they are calcifying our pineal through fluoride in water, and on the other side, they are putting all this chaos around us. And this is, I think, this is waiting to explode. How it will explode and who will bring that thing, not very clear, but this is a very serious factor, and people who are sensitive, I got into all this because I became very sensitive to some of these things. And when you become sensitive to materiality and to energies, then you kind of start looking for solutions. So every time we engineer, and being an architect, I'm one of those who don't need to meet engineers in the dark. So engineers have been doing things to our food, to our resources, to our medicine, to our just about every aspect of our life is engineered. And it's engineered by design. It's engineered by intent. Whether we put water in a pipe and change its structure, or that pipe could be a PVC pipe, which probably chlorinates it. So there is engineering at every level is becoming, it's motivated. And its motive is to basically suck the wealth up, because the money is being put into engineering so that it just sucks the wealth up. And in that they are kind of altering our vibrations and our relationship with materiality and even vibrations. So it's a very, very extensive way of doing it. patenting is one of the serious reasons why this all happens, because anything which is natural, they can't patent. Every time they engineer it, they can patent it. So every time we engineer an element, we change its vibrational relationship with the beings around it. We should now inquire how it affects the being before accepting it. So it's in our hands whether we accept engineered stuff or not. And if you use it, it'll be produced. So it's for us to be informed, and we decide that we are not going to use engineered stuff. We're going to keep it very simple. Natural fibers, natural soaps, natural detergents. Everything what we should do is anything packaged, we should just shun it. And anything engineered and patented, no. If you produce a demand, it will be produced by somebody. Ill effects of engineering: vibrational misalignment and elemental imbalance leading to inflammation and then disease. So it's prevalent. Everything, let's look at this room. Everything here is engineered. Look at the surfaces. Everything is plastic. Petroleum products will be everywhere. Huh? You are also engineered. I asked your wife in the morning. So medicine also is a lot of engineering going. I mean, finally, you have to realize that there is a limit to how much engineering you want to allow in your life. Architecture is this. This is called architecture. So I practice where I say that I'm not going to use steel and concrete. You put a violent material inside a fast setting cement, concrete. So they vibrate differently. Their coefficient of expansion is very different. So this is not longevity at all for the material. And then it does funny things because it rusts and it expands, it cracks, it nudges. So it's the only material people want to build with today. And to the extent that if I do this, basically I'll have to insulate it very well. If I don't insulate it, I can't use concrete. And it should be banned from being used. And now we are putting all our roads, infrastructure, flyovers, everything in this material. This life is 75, 80 years, not more than that. And that also in other countries where the coefficient of the temperature differential is not too much. Here it's too much. The first building was made in Pondicherry, Golconda House. And it survived because it was made very well. But other than that, most buildings in anywhere in India have suffered and they've had to redo. And so let's understand and roll back some of our engineered lives a bit. Help the planet and all the beings by treading very, very softly and genuine sustainability. So the narrative they have chosen is carbon. And it's not the resources they want to save. So it's about a carbon offset. So if I want to do glass and steel building, I can grow some trees somewhere or put some solar panels and I can negate the carbon and I'm happy and it's sustainable and you get platinum rated and it's done. At the end of the day, let's identify some of the key components which contribute in altering our relationship with the 5 elements. Reimagine a wellness-giving architecture narrative. So now these are the 5 elements and those are the measures which kind of help me put order to this madness. So first, we should know that we need to detox. So the air has to be detoxed, the water has to be detoxed. And anything we get from the earth into our kitchens, into our other operational materiality, we need to also detox it before we use it. So detox is a very standard practice. We take our cars for a overhaul and there is a filter cleaning for oil and air and fuel. Like that, we need to understand that this is a toxic world. We need to understand how to have the capability within your house, within your work environment, to detox what is coming into our dwelling unit. So water needs to be detoxed. Now the various, we'll come to that one by one. Building envelope. So one of the key things is currently there is poor thermal mass. I'll explain that in a while. There is RCC and steel, concrete and steel frame structure. It's insulated only if you are a good engineer or an architect. Otherwise, it will not even be insulated. Then it traps vapor inside because it doesn't breathe. Then it's airtight because we don't want pollution to come in. Then we use concrete blocks, bricks, concrete bricks. Then we use cement, toxic glues, non-breathing paints, air conditioned. So it's like a refrigerator you are inside. It doesn't breathe. And we all feel good about it. And most people who can afford can afford air conditioning, they sleep with quilts and duvets. So this has become a standard practice. And on the other side, what we have to do is increase thermal mass. The thermal mass, like you were talking about, actually stores and gives stability to the temperature variation. It gives that stability. And it breathes. If you can make it breathable, thermal mass, then it'll suck the vapor out. So like if you go to a church or a temple, you don't feel discomfort there. So it's because of the thermal mass. Then secondly, they build in lime. So if you build in lime, it's hydrophilic. So it'll suck out the moisture. So you can use rammed earth, adobe, clay bricks, but it has to be done with materials and the glues and the bonding agents which allow it to breathe. So the glues have to be non-toxic. The paints have to be breathing if you need to paint. Removing vapor naturally is the key thing, and if you can do it in the design by selection of thermal mass and the breathing materials, then you don't need to air condition it too much. And for a very short period, you might need, in case you don't have the habit of. But sensible decision making here will make sure that the air conditioning, you don't lose 1.5 liters of water while you're sleeping. So you get dehydrated. And that's when your kidney is actually healing. I mean, it's kind of removing your toxins. And if it doesn't have water, it won't do its job. How does one remove air conditioning from our lives is you have to build better. And it won't happen without it. So it's like the difference between a refrigerator and a matka. So let's respect this living host and bring in resource consciousness, not carbon. So we need to understand that it's the resources which are limited. Carbon is not the narrative. And somewhere down the line, sensitivity to that will come only have the mind, body, soul connect. Water used to transport sewage and pollutants. All freshwater rivers and lakes are a dump. Most abundant and most polluted elements. Since all water resources are connected, and so they are toxic. It's the most abused element, most wasted, delivers toxicity to the habitat and to the body, delivers toxicity to the soil, food and all beings, is disease spreading, it's mineral depleted. I mean, look at the status of this element. Recommended, know your water. So now we have a problem, we have water which is polluted. There's nothing called organic in this world in terms of food because water is polluted. So you will not be able to grow anything organic unless you do a very closed loop, soil-free, engineered water, growing your vegetables and fruits. So we have to get it tested. You need to know what is there in this water because it can have everything. It can have heavy metals, it can have pesticides, it can just have anything. So get it tested, find out its toxicity or imbalance, recalibrate. Most of the time you'll have to strip it completely. Then you use charcoal, you polarize it with magnets, and you do use copper and alum as great expungers. Don't strip it, it gets thirsty, but this is when you drink RO water. So if you drink RO water, it'll suck all the minerals out of you and you'll pee it out. So it's a beautiful way of demineralizing your body. Mineralize it, use ancient mineral salts. So what I normally tell is that you should take senda namak, pink Himalayan salt, dissolve it till it stops dissolving. At that stage, it becomes pure brine. So you store it, it will never go bad. and you take 1 drop of that and put it in 1 liter of RO water, and it will become the best mineral water you can buy. So you can do it in your house. So there is a bottle of alum lying. I did this around 20 years ago. It's still there. 1 drop and it mineralizes the body. I mean the water completely. RO drinking water remineralizes. It's hungry. It's worth investing it. Let it rest for a while. So the water needs to rest because we pump it up. It gets destructured. So it needs to rest. So we need to invest in good storage tanks, which are non-plastic, non-stainless steel. Stainless steel also, people started using stainless steel as pipes. It has nickel, 14% nickel in it. Nickel mimics zinc. So most men will get prostate problems because they have nickel poisoning. So stainless steel is now considered a good alternative, but it is actually very bad unless you then are conscious about it and have supplement zinc. Then it's fine. Otherwise, it will give you prostate issues. Cement tanks, waterproofed with brick tanks, plastered and waterproofed with alum. So use the Himalayan pink salt. That's its life. See, what is the difference between alkaline water and acidic water? RO water is acidic. The difference between alkaline and acidic is salts and minerals. So the rest of the guys who are now making alkaline water, they are manipulating hydrogen. And that actually does not deliver minerals, but it's fake alkaline. It's not going to, your salts, if they're depleted, you're acidic. So that acid and alkaline thing is, again, another well-sucking drama. Alum to waterproof the tank, and if not ceramic, tiling. So don't let it touch metals, which even copper, if you do it for a long period, it will make it very toxic. Pipes should be copper. So invest in copper pipes. So the reason why they rubbished copper after the World War or before the World War is because they wanted copper for other things. And if plumbing was not, copper plumbing was not rubbished, they would not have copper for other things they wanted because there's so much plumbing. So they said copper is toxic, don't use copper, shift to PVC, petroleum products, Rockefellers are happy, and voila, everybody is getting, PCBs and other stuff from the water.
Piping you recommend copper, right?
Yeah.
So now glass-lined pipes are available.
I haven't heard. So there is a food-grade plastic which people who can't afford copper is using, but so there are options, but so that is probably the most important investment in a house if you want to stay there. So there are ways, if you understand the intent behind the engineering, if you understand that they are coming out with a narrative of accreditation saying, if you do this, the world is going to be okay. So throw away your diesel cars and now we shift to electric. And the pollution has shifted to other places, that's all. And it's much worse because it's toxic also. So it's a narrative. They've got us to throw all our cars, they got our judiciary involved in it, and we all agreed and we threw. We didn't even come on the roads. So at the end of the day, it's all orchestrated, very, very well orchestrated. So the point is that somewhere down the line, we have to understand the engineering, the intent behind the engineering, and then we need to decode it, and then we need to be clever enough to say that I can manage it. Whatever it takes to manage it, I will manage it. But yeah, there is a way to manage it. So one of the ways of managing it is reduce your consumption. So the lesser you consume, I mean, I get hired sometimes by clients and they say, I said, reduce consumption. He says, no, I'm asking you to help me consume more. I mean, why are you telling me to consume less? I've arrived and I want to consume now. So what are you talking about? So if you consume, you're going to consume differently. But if you consume sensibly, you will definitely consume sensibly. See, we already had the infrastructure of village ponds, village baulis. We already had that. So, but we are disregarding them. We are not using them. And at the end of the day, rainwater harvesting also should be specific to the strata. So places where the water is 4 feet below, there's no need to do rainwater harvesting. And the places where it's very deep, again, rainwater harvesting, we should change the quality the kind of rainwater harvesting we have to do has to change. But we have standard laws more or less everywhere. So it's not even scientifically figured out. It should be a responsibility of the local area to understand what is happening to that village or to that community, and then accordingly devise ways of providing a solution for that. So, I mean, for me, water should be a closed loop cycle. Every project should not allow a single drop of wastewater to get out. They should manage it within the cycle.